My girlfriend, Lily, who always worked overtime, suddenly texted me. I have a boyfriend now. Delete me from your friends list, okay? Thanks. Wait, what? I sent her a question mark, and then saw that terrifying red exclamation point. My girlfriend has a boyfriend now. So who am I? Lily has been working overtime lately. I felt sorry for her busy schedule and sighed because the time she spent with me was getting less and less. I was preparing to bring some soup I cooked to her company to visit her when I received Lily's blue message bubble. I have a boyfriend now. Delete me from your friends list, okay? Thanks. At first glance, I found it a bit funny. This silly girl could be quite feminine, but why send me this message? I paused, sent a question mark, and realized the boyfriend wasn't me. My girlfriend, she had a boyfriend. And I was blocked, seeing that red exclamation point. With my hot temper, I didn't hesitate and immediately called Lily. But before I could question her, I heard a man's voice on the other end. Hello? Seriously, there was a man beside her? Frankly, I couldn't believe my ears. Lily always maintained her virtue, never letting any other man, except me, get close. She even kept a distance from other women. Yet today, she let a man answer her phone. Where's Lily? Let her answer the phone. I frowned and coldly said to the man on the other end. The man chuckled. Looking for Lily? She's busy, doesn't have time to give you the phone. I raised my voice, almost yelling into the phone. Sir, I advise you to have some self-respect. Lily has a boyfriend already. Why are you still lingering around? Don't you feel ashamed? After speaking, he hung up. If I was only angry before, now I was truly furious. I drove straight to Lily's company, daring to secretly find another man behind my back. She should be prepared to face the consequences. It was past 9 p.m., and only the top floor of Lily's company had lights on. The other floors were completely dark. Downstairs, only a security guard saw me arrive. The guard seemed surprised. Mr. Victor, are you here to pick up General Manager White after work? I didn't answer and went straight into the elevator, heading to the top floor. The entire office building was quiet, but when I reached the top floor, I could clearly hear people talking. I stormed into Lily's office, the accusation almost bursting out of my mouth, but I saw her office was full of people, seemingly in some discussion. At this moment, everyone was surprised and turned to look at me. Being stared at by dozens of eyes, I unconsciously swallowed, but still saw the man sitting in the corner of the room, completely out of place in this setting. He was wearing a jacket, looking at me with a smirk. Victor? Why are you here? Seeing me arrive, Lily was very surprised. She stood up from her chair and walked towards me. Perhaps realizing I was unhappy, Lily became a bit worried and walked faster, but she was still a step slower. The man sitting in the corner suddenly rushed forward, blocking in front of me, even using his body to separate us. Brother, we are having a meeting, please don't disturb us. He smiled at me and gestured for me to leave, clearly wanting to kick me out. I coldly looked at him, ignoring him and looking past him towards Lily. Do I need to go outside? Of course not. Lily, with surprising agility, slipped past the man, went straight to my side, wanting to take my hand, but I dodged it. She was clearly surprised by my dodging action and cautiously asked, Victor? What's wrong? Nothing. You continue your meeting, I coldly said. Lily turned to look at the people in the office, hurriedly pulled me inside, intending to have me sit next to her. As she passed the man, she directly ignored him. Lily, who is he? The company is having a meeting now. He comes in here. It doesn't seem appropriate. Being ignored, the man looked displeased, but still tried to put on a smile, stepping forward to block me from going in. Lily stopped, frowned, and looked at the man, as if just noticing him. Kevin, why are you still here? Lily, I am having a meeting with you. Kevin looked a bit embarrassed. Meeting with me? Even the assistant to the general manager doesn't need to participate in tonight's meeting. You are the assistant to the assistant general manager. What are you doing here? Lily's tone was unhappy, and it didn't seem like she was pretending. So, this man had been sitting in the office for so long, and Lily hadn't even noticed? The others in the office also seemed surprised, looking at the guy named Kevin in astonishment. Lily, the whole building. Only your office has people. I was outside, worried. So I waited for you in the office. Kevin rolled his eyes, looking at Lily with resentful eyes. Listening to Lily's tone, this man was the assistant to her assistant, but he kept saying, Lily, I am waiting for you. It seemed the relationship between these two wasn't simple. I crossed my arms and glanced at Lily. Feeling my gaze, Lily stood even straighter. Victor, I have no relationship with him. My mother asked me to arrange a job for him in the company, so I let him in. After speaking, she turned back and coldly said to Kevin, Kevin, today you said you were off work and had nothing to do, so you substituted for the assistant general manager. Since you stayed at the company, do your job properly, don't appear in places you shouldn't appear. Her tone was cold, with a hint of impatience, waving her hand to tell Kevin to leave. Kevin didn't expect Lily to embarrass him in front of everyone like this. He stared at Lily for 2 seconds, then pointed at me, angrily saying, What about him? He is also an irrelevant person. Why can he stay? Lily turned back to glance at him, not intending to explain, only calmly saying 2 words, Get out. These 2 words made Kevin's face turn pale, and then he turned and left the office. I was having a meeting just now. I didn't notice he was still here, Lily explained as she pulled me to sit down beside her. I nodded, signaling for her to continue the meeting. Everyone in the company didn't show any discomfort at my appearance. The meeting ended, and after everyone left, I took out my phone and showed Lily the conversation screen from earlier. Explain, I said, actually not that angry anymore, but still speaking coldly. Lily saw the content on the screen, her pupils constricted, and she put her hand on my shoulder. Victor, wait a moment, I will give you an explanation. After speaking, she went out of the office. I immediately followed, seeing her quickly find Kevin and walk up to him, holding out her hand. Give me my phone. Kevin was clearly stunned by her cold expression, his body slightly faltering before he took Lily's phone out of his pocket, handing it forward with both hands, his eyes both pitiful and a bit ambiguous. Lily quickly took the phone from his hand and searched the block list. Her whole face darkened. This was the first time I saw her like this. Curious, I stepped forward to look. Oh my! In the block list, besides me, there were also a few other mail accounts. Looking closely, they were all directors or project managers who cooperated with the company. Based on what did you touch my phone? I remember I left it on the desk charging. Lily was probably angry to the point of losing control of her volume when speaking. The department heads and managers who were cleaning up, preparing to leave work, all poked their heads out because of this noise. Kevin, because of this volume, his body unconsciously trembled, his face even more resentful. Lily, I just wanted to help you. Help you, dog. You want to help me go bankrupt, don't you? Help what? Lily was so angry that her hands slightly trembled when looking at the names in the block list. I knew her achievements today didn't come easily. She worked so hard to start her own business and get to this point, and now blocked several directors or project managers of companies at once. I was about to step forward to comfort her when my phone started ringing. Unsurprisingly, they were all friends in my friend list who were blocked by Lily, asking me what was happening. It seemed there was also a phone check. These people in the business world, although speaking politely, I knew they were questioning me. I glared at Kevin, still a bit annoyed, and said to Lily, Handle it immediately. Saying that, I went aside and started replying to my friends' messages. Luckily, out of respect for the Victor family, they weren't really angry. Plus, Lily's working ability was originally very strong, and the overall strength of the company was also obvious. After hearing that her phone was hacked by someone else, they all expressed sympathy, especially after hearing that I was also blocked. Some even reminded me to pay attention to the relationship between Lily and that man. After talking to everyone, my face also darkened. Today's matter, although Lily always stood on my side, she really didn't give me a reasonable explanation. Taking a few deep breaths, trying to suppress the anger in my heart, I returned to the lobby. Unexpectedly, this time there were 2 more police officers in the lobby. Lily was frowning, angrily saying something to them. Kevin was trembling, his face unbelievable, looking at Lily. Lily, you called the police to arrest me? His voice trembled. Seeing Lily ignore him, he turned to the 2 police officers beside him, almost running over and grabbing the police officer's hand. Officer, sir, we are friends, I was just joking. Our relationship is very good, you can't arrest me. The police officer fearfully stepped back 2 steps, looking at Kevin with an indescribable gaze. Sir, this matter is not something you can dismiss as a joke. You arbitrarily used this lady's phone and caused actual damage to her. The police patiently explained, Not friends, and not a joke either. He is just a company employee, Lily coldly said. I asked the police officers to investigate thoroughly. I suspect he came to my company to sabotage. Hearing this, Kevin's face turned as white as paper, fearfully looking at Lily. Seeing Lily completely ignore him and come to my side, asking about my communication situation just now, he finally couldn't hold back. Lily, I just feel you are not the same as before. Now you have a boyfriend, you should keep a distance from other men in your friend list. I just wanted to help you. Kevin cleverly shed a tear, looking not quite pitiful, but especially pathetic. Unfortunately, Lily, in her anger, didn't notice this standard beautiful tear. My friend list has nothing to do with you. You even blocked my boyfriend first. You don't want to help me keep a distance from men? You want me to be lonely until old age, right? Saying that, she pointed to an avatar in the block list. This Director Johnson is the same age as my father. Also needs you to help me keep a distance? I am your boss. I tell you to do what you do. If I don't tell you to do it, don't do it. This is the basic professional quality you should have. Do you not even have this? After speaking, she turned to the police. This phone of mine has many trade secrets. He is a new employee, yet dares to steal my phone, endangering my company's assets. I ask you officers to investigate seriously. I stood aside watching, stunned. Initially, I only intended to catch them in the act, but unexpectedly encountered a self-absorbed man. Even more unexpectedly, Lily directly called the police. This also reassured me about the relationship between them. Perhaps my returning to stand beside Lily stimulated this man. He struggled, breaking free from the police's control, running straight in front of us, pointing at my face and questioning Lily. What about him? Why can he enter the office? Why do you have a boyfriend now? You want to draw a clear line with me, but wholeheartedly protect him. Is your head stuck in the door? Lily lost her patience. Are you really blind? Can't you see he is my boyfriend? The word husband in my contact list. Do you not know how to read? Don't play mind games with me here. Kevin was scolded to the point of stepping back. The police officers at this time also really panicked. The police at this time also understood what was happening, but Kevin's behavior had caused damage to Lily. They wanted to ask if private mediation was possible, but Lily resolutely disagreed. Absolutely not. Dare to send that kind of message to my husband? Isn't this wanting me to live a single life? Cannot tolerate. Because Lily resolutely refused to mediate, Kevin was taken away. Before leaving, he pitifully stood in front of Lily and asked, Lily, I'm cold. Can I borrow this jacket to wear outside? Lily glanced at the jacket, calmly saying, not mine. The design lead, who had been watching the drama just now, finally jumped out of the office. Mine. Mine. Just now I casually put it on the chair next to General Manager White. Unexpectedly, you mistakenly took it. Return it to me. Kevin's face turned pale, angrily took off the jacket and threw it into the design lead's arms, and at the same time didn't forget to turn back and glare at me before following the police to leave. Looking at the resentful gaze Kevin gave me when leaving, I couldn't help but laugh. What was this? Provoking me, but resulting in self-inflicted trouble. Afterwards, Lily told me that Kevin was her neighbor's son from 10 years ago. That family had moved to the north 10 years ago and recently moved back. As soon as they returned, they visited their house to inquire. The two families had a pretty good relationship before, and now they reconnected. Hearing that Kevin was looking for a job, they asked Lily to arrange a job for him in the company. Lily almost forgot about this person, who knew on his first day of work he would cause trouble. I was a bit helpless, mockingly saying, another childhood sweetheart drama? Unexpectedly, Lily, after hearing, immediately acted it out on the spot. I don't have such a scheming childhood sweetheart. From childhood, he caused trouble, then liked to pretend to be pitiful, then blame it on me. Finally, he would resentfully say, it's all your fault. Lily mimicked Kevin's tone, said a sentence, and then used her body as if to shake off all the goosebumps. In short, in this lifetime, I don't want to have anything to do with him. This time, if it wasn't for my mother's request, I wouldn't have let him into the company at all. Hearing that although he was taken to the police station, Kevin wasn't punished because he went to find Lily's mother to complain. Under the fury of Lily's mother, Lily finally chose private mediation. I thought this time Lily doing this, he would know to back off. After all, his tricks were too stupid. But unexpectedly, not long after, he added my friend list again. Moreover, It was Lily who introduced his contact card to add me as a friend. Just after adding me, the other side immediately sent me a picture. In the picture was a large round table with quite a few people sitting. I only recognized Lily's parents and Lily. At this time, Lily was sitting next to the person taking the picture, smiling, picking up food for the person taking the picture, looking both gentle and attentive. Victor, you won't really believe Lily likes you, right? She always liked me. Today is the day we meet the two families officially to discuss marriage. Having experienced the last incident, I fundamentally didn't believe this man's words. If I hadn't immediately gone to verify, and Lily also directly called the police, that matter would definitely become a misunderstanding between us. So, when seeing the picture, I wasn't as angry as last time, only casually called Lily. The other end of the line was silent for a moment, probably finding a quiet place before answering the phone. Victor? What's wrong? The woman's voice was cheerful, seeming to be in a very good mood. Where are you? Lily paused. Because of mutual trust, I rarely asked her that. At the BYOC restaurant, eating with my parents. Kevin is also there. Today the two families are eating together. Lily's answer was very natural, not hearing a trace of pretense. I was silent for a moment. Check your friend list. I screenshotted the picture, and Kevin's words sent them to her. Is he sick? The one next to you is not him. It's my nephew, Little John. Lily was clearly angry, saying, and then told me to wait a moment, hung up first. Not long after, she sent me a screenshot. The screenshot was her nephew's timeline. 2 pictures, both taken by her nephew. Victor, you come here too. Today we must clarify everything. This Kevin is really crazy. I was a bit hesitant. Your two families gathering. Is it okay for me to come? Why not? My parents like you very much. Moreover, today's matter, if not clarified in front of Kevin, he will keep harassing us. It will affect our relationship. Speaking to the last sentence, she was clearly a bit flustered and firmly said, You must come. I'll have the driver pick you up. Thinking about Lily saying she wanted to clarify things once and for all, I changed clothes and went out. BYOC wasn't far from me. 20 minutes later, I arrived. Just arrived, I saw Lily come to the door to greet me, her face still angry. I hurriedly stepped forward, patted her shoulder to comfort her, but she was still resentful. Luckily you came. Ask me, if you were like the men in novels, silently left, what would I do? I'm convinced this matter is my fault. I apologize. After a hug to comfort Lily, she led me into their private room. Upon entering the door, everyone in the room was talking and laughing. Seeing me appear, Mrs. White and Mr. White were both very happy, hurriedly telling the waiter to add a seat for me. Victor, quickly come sit next to Uncle. Mr. White very happily told the waiter to place a chair next to him, which was just right, also next to Lily. Next to Lily, indeed, there was a little boy not yet 10 years old. Next to the little boy was Kevin. Seeing me enter, Kevin was clearly stunned, his face also becoming unsightly. Lily, who is this? Our two families are gathering. Why bring an outsider here? The man sitting next to Kevin, looking older, probably Kevin's father, mocked upon seeing me sit down. Hearing this, Mrs. White's face changed. She gently patted the back of my hand, telling me to rest assured, then smiled and said, This is not an outsider. This is my son-in-law, Victor. Oh, so it's Lily's boyfriend? This young man is quite strict. Even Lily eating with her parents, he has to stick around. The man forced a smile, saying a sentence, making me out to be an unreasonable person who controlled his girlfriend. Originally, I should have respected elders, but some elders fundamentally weren't worthy of my respect. Uncle misunderstood. I am not her boyfriend. You said today you all are here to discuss the marriage of my girlfriend with him? I can't let my girlfriend suffer losses, so I came to see. I smiled very brightly, even provocatively looking at Kevin. When entering, Lily had said she was resentful, must definitely stand up for herself. Hearing me say this, Mr. White and Mrs. White were both surprised, looking at Kevin. Discuss marriage? What marriage? Hearing me say this sentence, Kevin was clearly panicked, even knocking over the water glass next to him. Marriage? What marriage? I don't know. Although his mouth said he didn't know, his flustered appearance made people see that he was flustered. Seeing this, Mr. White's face became serious. Kevin, the marriage matter of Lily and Victor, we will consider ourselves, no need for you to worry. Uncle, Nephew really doesn't know what Mr. Victor is talking about. Kevin hurriedly stood up, hurriedly explaining, but his worried expression quickly turned into resentment. He slightly lowered his head, his voice trembling. Uncle, nephew knows last time nephew did a good thing turned into a bad thing, causing Mr. Victor to have prejudice against nephew. But Mr. Victor also doesn't need to slander nephew like this, right? Saying that, he even pretended to sob twice. That's right. The matter last time, our Kevin already explained clearly, right? All misunderstandings. He was just worried Lily didn't know how to keep a distance from other men, making her boyfriend angry, so he did that. Mrs. Kerr hurriedly stepped forward, hugging Kevin into her arms, then glared at me. This Mr. Victor, you came uninvited. That's fine, but just came and already targeted our Kevin. What do you mean? Kevin grew up with Lily since childhood. If he really wanted to compete with you, do you think you would have a chance? I laughed coldly. Although I had long seen that Mrs. Kerr wasn't an ordinary person, unexpectedly, she would say such words. But the biggest reaction to her words was Lily. She almost jumped up, blocking in front of me. What compete? Victor is not uninvited. I asked him to come. And Kevin and I never had anything. I never liked him. Between me and my boyfriend, there has never been anything related to Kevin. These words were almost not giving the other party any face. The faces of Kevin's whole family all darkened. Kevin raised his head from his mother's arms, looking at Lily. This gaze could be said to be extremely skillful, both resentful and pitiful, like being abandoned by a lover. The atmosphere in the room became even more awkward. What are you doing? Everyone sit down, eat together. Why argue so loudly? Mrs. Kerr hurriedly stood up, pressed Kevin and her husband down onto their chairs. Since we gathered together, just be happy. No need to make a fuss like this, right? Saying that, she even raised her wine glass, wanting to clink glasses with Mrs. White. Mrs. White hadn't spoken from just now, but looking at her face, it was clear she wasn't happy either, but still raised her glass to clink with her. Since it was like that, Lily and I didn't say much anymore. Anyway, what needed to be said, Lily had already said very clearly. Unexpectedly, we intended to let it go, but the other side wouldn't let go. Originally, because of the matter just now, this meal everyone ate was very awkward. The happiest person at the table was probably the little nephew next to Lily. Unexpectedly, when the atmosphere just eased, Mr. Kerr suddenly laughed and said, "Time flies so fast. Lily and Kevin are both grown up." I still remember the image of the two children playing together when they were young. Speaking of the childhood of the children, the faces of Mr. and Mrs. White also softened a lot, inevitably lamenting, "Time flies fast." But unexpectedly, the next sentence of that man was, "I also remember back then, the two children were even betrothed." Mr. Kerr finished speaking, and then as if suddenly realizing he had misspoke, turned to me. "Mr. Victor, don't mind. I just remembered the childhood of the two children. Now betrothal is no longer popular. We all know it won't affect you." I couldn't help but laugh coldly. Said it won't affect us, but still keep mentioning betrothal. Lily, hearing this, immediately became unhappy. Uncle, you misremembered. I never said I wanted to marry him." Speaking to this point, Lily seemed to be even a bit resentful. Just because of that, from childhood, the delicious food my parents gave me was all taken by you for Kevin. I almost burst out laughing. And on the other side, the smile on Mr. Kerr's face stiffened. After a while, he recovered, intending to open his mouth to speak, but Mr. White spoke first. Betrothal? Indeed, there was such a thing. Lily couldn't believe it, turned back to look at her father. "Dad? What are you saying?" Unexpectedly, Mr. White ignored her, but continued to smile. "But that year, it was your family who kept saying the two children were a good match, could be betrothed. We never agreed." Lily nodded repeatedly, at the same time turned to me. "Victor, I already said, I and him have no relationship at all." Kevin's tears welled up, looking at Mr. White. "Uncle, now you don't like me anymore? Why before did you say you liked me very much, and were also willing to let me be your son-in-law? Just now still said it wouldn't affect me and Lily. Now said he wanted to be someone's son-in-law. This man was really shameless." Mr. White laughed, bringing the water glass in front of him up to drink a sip, then took my hand. "I indeed said so, but that was just me willing, doesn't mean Lily is willing. Now Lily has chosen Victor, so my son-in-law is Victor. This sentence was like a slap to the face of Kevin's whole family. Mr. and Mrs. Kerr were both a bit indignant, still wanting to argue. Old White, the feelings of the children, it's not for us parents to interfere. Lily and Victor are very good. We also like Victor very much. After speaking, he again looked at Kevin. Kevin, when you were little, we also watched you grow up, a very good young man, but indeed not suitable for Lily. Later I will introduce you to someone better. After speaking, he raised his wine glass, drinking it all in front of Mr. Kerr. Mr. Kerr had no other way, could only force a smile and drink it all. Clearly, he didn't dare to offend Mr. White. Even Mrs. Kerr didn't dare to continue to linger, obediently sitting. Only Kevin, his eyes staring at Lily, questioned, Lily, you really don't like me? Why don't I believe it? Lily directly flared up. I just don't like you. If you don't believe it, that's your business. What does it have to do with me? If I didn't like you, why when we were little did I help you so much? When we were little, my fat desk mate stole your things. I even helped you snatch them back. That's because if I didn't help you, when we got home, you would tell your dad, saying I saw you being bullied at school, but didn't help. Your dad would come tell my dad. My dad would scold me. You don't know how painful that fat guy's punches were. I fundamentally didn't want to fight with him. Lily angrily said. Kevin couldn't believe it, looking at Lily in disbelief, but still unwilling to give up. Then in 7th grade, a female student wrote a love letter to me. Why did you also hit her? I was surprised, turned back to look at Lily. Lily hurriedly grabbed my hand, even more angrily. It was him who rejected that female student, saying he liked me. That female student took the initiative to find me to fight. I fundamentally didn't want to fight with her. She broke a rib of mine, you know. Actually, I also felt a bit embarrassed for Kevin. A man with a temper like a woman, liking to take credit. In short, it was very unmanly. Unexpectedly, Kevin was still unwilling to give up. Then this time I came back. Why without a word you arranged for me to enter your company? You even let me be your assistant. I heard I was the only assistant who could parachute into your company. Lily held her head. That was you going to tell my mother that you still haven't found a suitable job. My mother was kind-hearted, let you into my company. Moreover, you are not my assistant. You are the assistant to the assistant general manager. Initially arranging a relaxed job for you was because I didn't want you to affect my work. Unexpectedly, you almost made me lose several clients. She spoke more and more angrily, finally directly saying, Kevin, can you leave my life? So unmanly, and also liking to take credit, really useless. Finally, Kevin both cried and ran out. After the dinner party, I was a bit embarrassed, looking at Mr. and Mrs. White. Sorry, Uncle and Aunt. I ruined everyone's meal. Unexpectedly, Mr. White shook his head. No. On the contrary, I have to thank you for helping us see through his true face. Before, he was a good young man. How did he become like this? Lily muttered beside. He wasn't good before either. I couldn't help but laugh. After confirming Mr. and Mrs. White weren't angry because of today's matter, I was also more relieved. For a long period of time after that, I didn't meet Kevin again, but his statuses frequently appeared on my timeline. Every day, he posted melancholic and bitter statuses to the point my teeth ached. Occasionally, he would also post highlights of his live streams, along with words of encouragement from fans. Turned out, he really intended to settle down as a streamer. Lily and I both felt lucky. From after the time he caused trouble, Mr. and Mrs. White both felt our marriage matter had to be set early to ward off those kinds of stray cats and dogs. My parents were also very satisfied with Lily, so they had no objections. Therefore, under the urging of Lily, we quickly set the engagement date. The whole family was busy. Only I was concerned about whether the food at the engagement party was delicious or not. Everything went smoothly. The problem was, a few days before the engagement ceremony, rumors started spreading online about a CEO of a listed company abandoning her childhood sweetheart to get engaged to a mistress. My name and Lily's name were abbreviated as White M and Victor M, hung in a prominent position. Our photos were rampant online. In today's society, everyone hates mistresses, especially me, who was considered a mistress, was scolded terribly. Even my youthful melancholic statuses were dug up. I was really stunned when I heard this news. Lily immediately called me. Victor, rest assured, I will definitely handle this matter well, will not affect our engagement ceremony. Don't read the comments online. Don't let it affect your mood. I knew she was worried about me, so I responded, telling her not to worry, and also started investigating the childhood sweetheart. Childhood sweetheart, clearly Kevin. So Kevin was spreading rumors online? But after investigating, I felt a bit helpless. This man was now a slightly famous small streamer. He didn't publicly declare himself to be Lily's childhood sweetheart. Only in last night's live stream. He kept making mistakes, his eyes red and swollen. Everyone in the live stream room saw that something was wrong with him. So they asked, and he gently wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes, pretending to be strong and saying, "It's nothing, just my ex-girlfriend is getting engaged. A bit sad, that's all. But it's okay, my loves, I will be stronger." How could fans bear to let their male god suffer grievance? So, righteous fans started searching for the husband-stealing mistress. Kevin didn't want to say, but they still found Lily's information, and of course, mine too, from Kevin's previous statuses and clues on his social media account. Initially, it only spread in Kevin's fan community. Then because of Lily's identity as the CEO of a listed company, it attracted more attention, causing Lily's company's stock to also fall slightly. The problem now was Kevin had never publicly slandered Lily online with a single sentence. Everything he said was not directly aimed at us. All were investigated by fans themselves. He only wiped tears, advised fans not to disturb other people's lives when they were agitated. Everything was unrelated to him. This made it very difficult for us to sue him. So, this problem was really difficult to solve. Lily first used the company account to post a clarification, but it was ineffective. Netizens only believe what they want to believe. Recently, seeing Lily busy, her face darkened and tired, and also having to care about me, I felt even more sorry for her. Moreover, the company was something Lily painstakingly built up. Because of this matter, it became like this now. In her heart, she must be very uncomfortable. But very quickly, things took a turn for the better. Someone uploaded a video of us eating in the private room at Bayousi that day. The video was a bit shaky, but it could still be distinguished who was speaking in the video. Lily clearly said she had never liked Kevin, especially the part where Kevin cried and asked about the good things Lily had done for him when they were little, along with Lily's rebuttal. No way? So there's fundamentally no mistress? General Manager White was so pitiful when she was little. This Kevin's family is really exploiting General Manager White since childhood. General Manager White is really a saint. So hateful. Before, I even scolded General Manager White and her boyfriend because Kevin cried. In the video, it was clear Kevin kept provoking Lily's boyfriend, saying the family meal was to discuss marriage. Kevin was really shameless. In an instant, Kevin was criticized by everyone online. His comment section was completely attacked, causing him to delete some videos of complaining and set it so only he could comment. Unexpectedly, someone had recorded a video that day. I hurriedly called Lily, asking what was happening. The other end of the line, she laughed smugly. "Have to thank my nephew, Little John." The little nephew sitting next to him that day. Because of Kevin's family matter, I didn't have time to talk to that little boy. That's right. He said when you just entered the room, the faces of their whole family changed. He knew immediately they would cause trouble. He habitually took out his phone to record. Unexpectedly, it would really be used. I was surprised for a moment before saying, "That little boy is only a few years old, but already so clever." Then Lily disagreed. "Don't underestimate children. They are very smart." This time, have to thank him, we could turn the situation around. Netizens just turned to criticize Kevin. Then that side couldn't stand it anymore. He tried every way to remove the hot search, but the hotness of the matter was too big, fundamentally couldn't be removed. Heard his mother personally went to Lily's house to apologize, but was chased out by Mrs. White. Mrs. White pointed at her nose, scolding. "You Kerr family really think I am a fool? Because of a little old friendship, you said you wanted to come back here to develop. I helped your family a lot. Your family treats my daughter like this?" Mrs. Kerr wanted to explain, but only received one word: "Get out." Unexpectedly, in desperation, he finally came to me. He asked to meet me at a coffee shop. Thinking I should resolve it once and for all, I went. In the coffee shop, the man looked haggard. "The matter online, I apologize." "I apologize to you." Just after sitting down, he stood up, bowed, sorry. His eyes were a bit red, looking like he was sincerely apologizing. I laughed, not saying anything. Not receiving a response from me, he awkwardly stood for a moment before sitting down himself. Today looking for you is to apologize to you. Besides, I just don't want you to be deceived. Do you really believe Lily's words? Never liked me? Saying that, he took out a stack of photos. They were all photos I had never seen before. In the photos were two children holding hands, looking at the camera, smiling very brightly. There was even one photo of the boy tilting his head to kiss the girl. Both were smiling. These photos, I didn't post online because I didn't want to hurt you. You should see how close our relationship was. It's just now she doesn't admit it. Kevin darkly, painfully said. I flipped through all the photos. The more I looked, the angrier I got. Inside were all intimate gestures of the two people when they were little. Finally, I couldn't hold back, threw the stack of photos onto the table. Kevin, do you think I am a fool? Kevin raised his head, looking at me intently, as if not expecting me to say that. Taking photos from when you were a few years old to provoke me? At that time, you all were children. What did you understand? I looked at him helplessly. But we were really close since childhood. We were childhood sweethearts. What she said to you, what never liked me. Completely untrue. Don't you see she is deceiving you? He spoke as if he was helping me. Then this time, I really laughed out loud. Kevin, put away those petty tricks, okay? I pointed to the young man at the next table. That young man had been holding up his phone as if taking selfies, but his eyes kept staring at me. Let me guess, recently you have been criticized online, so you intend to come find me, expose your girlfriend's lies to me, so I can accuse her with you, so your fans can turn around, then you can post online, blame everything on Lily, saying we were both deceived by her, right? Kevin's eyes widened, looking at me in disbelief. How? How do you know? I sneered. As long as you use your brain a little, you wouldn't be so stupid. Those photos are useless to me. Do you want to see photos of me and my neighbor's sister when we were little? Saying that, I went to in front of the young man next to me. At this time, he was already sweating profusely. I looked at the screen. Oh, still live streaming? Now the whole screen is scolding Kevin for being insidious, praising me for being smart. I initially didn't understand. Unexpectedly, Kevin had this intention. Sorry, initially I really thought Kevin wanted to help Victor after. Kevin still has the face to say so. First time seeing someone so shameless. That young man, seeing the comments, couldn't control himself anymore, hurriedly turned off the live stream. At this time, the coffee shop door also had a figure rushing in. Lily almost stormed in. Seeing me, she immediately threw herself into my arms. Victor, you must not believe him. Those photos were all my mother tricked us into taking. At that time, I was still young, didn't understand things. She hurriedly explained, speaking a bit incoherently, probably had watched the live stream, but hadn't watched to the later part. I nodded, kissed her lips. Rest assured, I fundamentally don't believe him. Being kissed by me, Lily was relieved. The fear on her face also turned into a sweet smile. But when turning back to see Kevin, her face darkened again. Kevin, you still dare to come sabotage our relationship. Then don't blame the White family for being impolite. After speaking, she didn't bother to look at him, pulled me out, ignoring Kevin's weeping behind. Afterwards, Lily again had the company post a clarification, this time not holding back, publicly announcing all the things Kevin had done, including the matter of him stealing her phone and being taken to the police station last time. Regarding this matter, Mr. White even specially apologized to me, saying that at that time, hearing Kevin's family say Kevin really wanted to help, unexpectedly accidentally made a mistake, was taken to the police station by Lily. They requested Lily to mediate privately and release him. Finally, this stern father a bit earnestly said, Victor, rest assured, you are the son-in-law that the White family acknowledges. We will not let anyone bully you. That Kerr family, we will no longer associate with them. Saying that, he was still a bit worried. Later, if you suffer grievance, just say it. Like today, we will demand justice for you. Definitely don't suffer losses, finally heartbroken and run away. Lily finding a husband is not easy. My future father-in-law, Mr. White, was very satisfied with me. He said since Lily showed him those novels, he became more and more concerned about me. The engagement day quickly arrived. Because it was just an engagement, we didn't invite many people, only family relatives, a small gathering of a few tables. But unexpectedly, when my parents and I set off to the hotel, we were bumped into by someone. The person who bumped into us was none other than Kevin, the one who had recently been scolded terribly online. Finally, he posted a video apologizing. I fundamentally didn't watch, only saw many people say his apology was fake, fundamentally didn't recognize his mistake, only knew how to blame Lily, saying Lily made him misunderstand, finally was scolded to the point of having to withdraw from the internet. Unexpectedly, he appeared in front of my car. Getting out of the car, I saw Kevin lying on the ground, his face pale, looking very haggard. Seeing me, he was like seeing an enemy, but still tried to suppress his anger. "Victor, can you spare my family?" I was a bit stunned. "Spare whose family? What are you pretending for? Everything is because of you. Now the White family is everywhere targeting my family. My family's business is about to be unmanageable. Because of you, my family is about to go bankrupt. How can you people be so heartless?" He cried very painfully, this time no longer looking weak, but crying to the point of snot and tears all over his face, making everyone around look. Even some took out their phones to record videos, looking like he was hit by my car. I coldly asked, "Are you going to get up or not? Unless you tell the White family to spare us, and let Lily invest in my family, otherwise I won't get up. Today you also don't even dream of getting engaged." This time he was no longer whining, only wanted to help his family. But the matter of the White family dealing with the Kerr family, I fundamentally didn't know. I had never even asked about these matters. While I was frowning, intending to call Lily, my mother got out of the car. "Mom, why did you come down?" My mother shook her head, walked to Kevin's side, her face still with a gentle smile, but the words spoken were, "Your family going bankrupt has nothing to do with the White family." Kevin surprisedly looked at my mother, clearly not understanding who this was. My mother continued to say, "Your family moved to the north that year to develop. The first 2 years were still okay. But after that, because your father's business failed, he had already lost all his capital. Struggled to maintain for so many years, finally couldn't hold on anymore. So you came back here. Coming back here, wanting to start over, you immediately targeted the White family. The White family, out of respect for old friendship, also helped your family quite a bit. But you were too greedy, so you targeted Lily, knowing clearly she was dating my son, but still kept flirting, sabotaging the relationship of the two children. It's not. I really like Lily. We are childhood sweethearts," Kevin shouted, shaking his head, his eyes full of fear. But my mother didn't stop, but continued to say, "Today, you better get out of the way. Otherwise, if you let the Ma family in the Northeast, whom you deceived, know about this news, you guess if they will come looking for you or not. You guess then who else will protect your family." My mother, after all, was an experienced person. When speaking, she carried a momentum that Kevin, a young man, fundamentally couldn't withstand. He almost rolled and crawled aside, hurriedly saying, "Don't tell them. Don't tell them. Then it's best not to delay my son's engagement time." My mother calmly said, then pulled me into the car. In the car, I curiously asked my mother, "Mom, how do you know about their family?" She chuckled. "My son is bullied and I have no reaction? How can that be?" Saying that, she reproachfully looked at me. Later, this kind of matter must be told to Mom early. After I promised and nodded, she then told me. It turned out at that time when the matter was noisy online, my mother wasn't in a hurry to deal with it, but went to investigate the situation of the Kerr family. Investigating, she found out the Kerr family in the north had long gone bankrupt, offended no small number of people. Among them the biggest was the Ma family. Now the Ma family was still busy with other matters, waiting to finish dealing with them. Sooner or later they would come looking for them. Those local families, after hearing the news my mother spread, who else dared to associate with their family anymore? The car bumping incident was resolved very easily. The engagement ceremony also went very smoothly. But even though engaged, Lily was still worried, feeling that not being married yet, she was still uneasy. Recently, she again read many reverse novels, occasionally even took me to get a health checkup, afraid I was like the male lead in the story, having terminal cancer or something. I patted her head. "Can you think of some good things for me?" Lily shyly rubbed her head. "Okay, must be healthy. My husband must live to be 100 years old." Meeting Kevin again was at a business cocktail party. Lily was talking to several directors about work. I felt bored, intending to find a seat myself, unexpectedly encountered Kevin again. At this time, He was dressed very smartly, but it could be clearly seen he was haggard. Seeing me, he was clearly also stunned. I could clearly see the anger in his eyes when he saw me, but this time he didn't dare to step forward to cause trouble with me. On the contrary, after seeing me sit opposite him, he hurriedly stood up, intending to leave. Just feeling a bit strange, I saw a fat woman about 50 years old walk towards him. Seeing that woman, Kevin became extremely tense. Although very careful, he was still grabbed by that woman's arm and pulled away. That's the Ma family. Lily, not knowing since when, had appeared beside me. Remembering the matter of the Ma family that my mother had told me, it seemed they had really come looking for him. Kevin marrying into the Ma family. She shook her head. The Ma family won't want him anymore. The Ma family, when giving money, already prepared for this. Now that money has become embezzlement of public funds, Kevin's father has gone to jail. Kevin, for life, without status or title, following Mei Dong, life is definitely not easy. Hearing this, I again looked in the direction of Kevin. Sure enough, saw Mei Dong pushing Kevin to toast. Indeed, one cannot be greedy. For example, me, I have never been greedy for a fool who likes to read brainless novels like Lily, and I also don't dislike it.